Good afternoon. I think our guys came ready to play last week. I think that they did a really, really good job of comprehending the install and being able to apply it in a relatively hostile environment. I was really, really excited about the way our guys played physically. I thought they were very, very violent in the run game. And then when it came time to pass the football, they did a really, really good job of blocking up front and then making the catches, that were contested. So I was really, really excited to see that. And then overall, just the game day operation amongst the staff and the players and the communication of the plays getting in. And then once our guys got to the sideline, communicating any adjustments that needed to be made. So overall, I was really, really excited about the way they played and the way our team came together on the road.
I know the biggest stat that everyone's talking about is the third down conversions. 15 to 24 is what Coach said. I mean, did you see a difference in, I don't know, just mentality or approach or poise with the guys out there on third down this week that you hadn't seen before?
We executed better than we have in years past when we got into scenarios where it was 3rd and 7+, I'd say. Usually when you get in those scenarios, the percentage of you being successful goes down significantly. And we had talked about during the week, the game of football is about situations. First and second down is an objective, third down is an objective, fourth, and then where you're on the field is objectives. And I think our guys really took into account what the situation was, what we were trying to get accomplished, and they executed. I can't really attest it to anything than those guys being coachable, being disciplined, and making plays when when their number was called.
Coach, I know you worked with Buckshot extensively one-on-one in the summer. Seeing how he performed that first game, what were you most impressed with?
His composure. He did not get distracted by external things. And usually for a young quarterback, that's usually where a young man struggles, is when he walks into an environment that's considered hostile, and he lets external things get into his mind, whether that be the crowd, whether it be the size of the stadium, whether it be an opponent, gesturing or making some type of comment to him and rattling him. At no point in time did he ever, demonstrate any hesitation or any uncertainty. He was dialed in. He had laser-like focused, and the kid just came out and performed when we needed him to do, when we needed him most. And I was really, really excited just to see that, he's taken that step in that direction where he won't be fazed by anything external.
You brought up in your opening statement the offensive line, and I believe all 5 of them played all 103 snaps Saturday. What were you pleased with and what they were able to accomplish after last year with so many changes with injuries? And what do you do this week to make sure those guys are just as fresh and just as ready to come off the ball as they were Saturday, so that way, against Morehead State, you're seeing the same type of push up front?
Well, we always talk about where your hat and hands need to be in relation to the football or the quarterback. And I was really, really excited to see and impressed with the fact that our guys had their hat and hands in the relatively correct position in relation to where the football is being run, whether it was inside or outside. Our guys had their hat and hands in the right places so that our backs or our ball carriers could make the appropriate cut. And then in the pass game, they did exactly what we wanted them to do. Widen the pocket, keep number 12 clean, and when you got an opportunity to make someone pay, capitalize on it, and they did a really, really good job. And that's a relatively young group. There's a couple guys that, that didn't play a lot of snaps last year. Our center, he was on the compete team last year, and this is his first game, and he's out there dealing with, these guys that are 4 or 5 stars. Julio Lozano was a guy that didn't play until midway through the season last year, and I was really impressed the way he played. He was able to fight through that heat. Our right tackle as well. He's a guy that's a swing guy. He can play all 5 positions, and he was in there battling us. And I was impressed, with Dante Duff as well, and Mike Henderman. So overall, the production from that group was awesome, just from the fact that they did what they were coached to do. They did it at a high level, and not once did they tap out. Well, we had some issues getting back home, as you may know, and so we had to take into account exactly, okay, how much rest do these guys need, and then how much can we ask of them, how much can we ask them to generate this week in order that they can recover, because the team we played, are going to play, already has 2 days worth of recovery on them, so we've taken that into account, and we're still going to go hard, but we're just going to gear back the amount of plays. 103 plays is not anything to us. We get 150 plays probably in every practice. The pace may not be the same, but the total amount of plays, we do get that in every day.
How do you guys maintain that execution here this week against a team that is going to come in here as an underdog? How do you maintain that same intensity here this week?
Well, we talk about this on a daily basis, but we're not concerned about how we feel, whether we feel really good about ourselves or we feel really bad, what the weather's like outside, whether it's good or bad. We're more concerned about doing our jobs. Regardless of what the weather is, the mailman delivers. He's not going to deliver really, really well, really, really bad because of the weather. He's going to do his job the way he's supposed to do it. Just like your Ford F-150 has a job to do, whether it's good weather or bad weather, it's designed to execute. And so we talk about on a daily basis, we have an objective, we have a goal. And regardless of how we feel, we have to get it achieved. And so regardless of who's coming in here, we're going to do what we need to do on a daily basis just because it has to be done.
Coach, did you meet nearly all of your offensive goals last week against Baylor? And the explosiveness, did that surprise you that you had as many big explosive plays in that game?
In terms of reaching our objectives, I think we fell short too. We didn't average 4 yards per rush, was one of them, and then we'd like to average a knockdown per play, which could be physically knocking someone on the ground or making somebody miss if you're a ball carrier. And so I think we had 80 knockdowns out of a possible 103. And I think we averaged like 3.6 yards per carry. So those are two goals that we did not meet. Now, we were playing physical, and we did run the ball relatively well, but it was in relation to the certain type of run scheme. There were certain runs that averaged 4 or more yards, and there were certain runs that did not average 4 or more yards. And so, yes, was I pleased? Yes. But sometimes stats, they don't always tell the whole story. In relation to the explosives, every week Coach Gill gives the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams coordinator a list of questions, and most of them are about objectives. What do you think we can get done in X, Y, and Z areas? And I marked down on that sheet for Coach Gill on Friday. I thought that we can get 8 or more explosives versus these guys. We knew they had some younger guys that are going to be participating, and we had some veteran guys that could possibly capitalize. And so, we exceeded that 8 explosives for sure.
Joe, 11 different players caught passes last week. Where's the trust level with Buckshot throwing to, regardless of what position group he's throwing it to?
Well, I think that just is a tribute to the system itself. Next man up is the mentality that we have, and we ran the same plays that we ran day 1 through 4 of fall camp and spring. That's really what we ran going against the guys. We just did it at a hyper pace that they just could not get aligned to or recognize fast enough. And so with that being said, 11 guys touching the ball doesn't surprise me. If we had more able bodies, I'd say the number would probably be up. Both tight ends caught the football. I think all 7 receivers that played caught a football, and then 3 different backs caught the ball. So, with that being said, the system is designed to get the football to everyone and anyone in relation to what the defense is doing. And so that's not surprising to me. When you go back and look at the scrimmages, the same amount of guys or more had touches throughout fall camp. And so the system's kind of engineered to get the football to everyone and anyone who's open.
You give us an idea of what you're up against this week defensively. What do they do? What do they do well?
Yeah, these guys are a 4-man front. They're an even front. They have relatively good size up front. They're big, stout guys. They got some really good athleticism. they have some guys that are veterans that's played a lot of football for them. They will have a couple of new guys that are in the mix that haven't played a lot. But these guys are coming off a pretty big win, and they played a very, very aggressive style of defense. They're not afraid to blitz, and not afraid to play zero or one or man coverage. And so, with that being said, they're going to try to challenge us, and rightfully so. And we got to respond if they're going to decide to play that kind of defense versus, our system. I feel like our guys, they match up really, really well, and hopefully we take care of our business in the run game the way we're supposed to in order to generate the points needed to win the ball game.